Have you ever wanted to know more about Russia? Perhaps like me, you have this vague memory of your parents telling you one day when you were a kid, hey, the Cold War's over. And you're like, great. And then you didn't really think about it for a decade and a half. But as the 2000s have gone on, you're realizing that this narrative that we have in a lot of Western countries about 1989 being the end of communism and the end of the Cold War doesn't really match what we're seeing play out. Well, do I have a book for you? I have learned so much from this book. It's by this woman, Monica Attard. It's called Russia, Which Way Paradise? And it is phenomenal. Monica Attard is an Australian journalist, and she spent, the years, I think is like about 87 to 96, off and on, living in Russia and reporting on Russia for Australian news. Front line seats to these massive changes. Now, I'm not saying that period in Russia is all you need to study if you want to understand Russia better, and I'm not saying just read one book about it. Absolutely read more. Russia's a big country, it's got a long history, and you of course need to read books by Russians themselves. But in terms of a Western perspective that kind of breaks down a lot of what, at least I thought I knew and understood about Russia, I can't say enough about this book. So one of the most brilliant things that she did, now her journalistic credentials are impeccable. I mean, she was able to get very senior bureaucrats and politicians on the line and interview them. But what makes her book so fantastic is she clearly went out of her way to learn as much as she could about Russia, the culture, the people. She speaks Russian fluently, went out and made a ton of Russian friends. So every moment where something happens in 89 and 90 and 91, it's not just a what happened or this was the official messaging, but this is what actual Russian people said about it. And it's not all the same. So she brings in so many different perspectives and so many of the struggles that regular people went through as they were trying to figure out this, how to transition from this communism thing to this capitalism thing, and how it didn't work for a lot of people. And some of them, went against communism and then went back to it. And some people embraced democracy and some people struggled with it. And there was this whole fascist thing in there that I didn't know about. And just how confusing and challenging that time was for actual Russians. And then she talks about how you build capitalism against the foundation of communism, Soviet-style communism, and what that really involved and how it affected the people. I can't say enough about this book because I learned so much from it. So yeah, if you know it, if you want to read it, if you have read it, let me know. Questions or comments always. Otherwise, I hope everyone is doing phenomenal.